This is the Intex Ultra XTR Deluxe above-ground swimming pool set, and honestly, when I first saw it in person, the massive round shape, the graphite gray exterior with a touch of blue on the inside, it really stood out in my backyard. You can't miss its size. This pool's diameter is 24 feet, and it stands at 52 inches tall, which is pretty impressive. Just at a glance, I could picture family gatherings, neighborhood kids running around, and even quiet days, floating solo with a drink in hand. Now, let me get real with you from the start. Setting up a pool like this takes a good bit of effort, especially if you haven't done this before. From my experience, the biggest challenge was making sure the ground was absolutely level. If the foundation isn't flat, you're setting yourself up for a lot of headaches later. I thought I could get away with just smoothing out my yard, but I quickly realized that wasn't going to cut it. The legs on this pool are sturdy steel, but if the ground is even a little uneven, they can tilt, and that puts stress on the whole frame. I used a few extra bags of landscaping rock I had lying around to help even things out, but I'd recommend you actually take the time to prep your site properly. Get some sand, maybe even rent a tamper if your yard is bumpy. It'll save you trouble down the line. Once the ground was level, assembly wasn't hard at all. The easy lock system really means what it says. The frame parts snap together firmly without the need for any tools. If you want a pool that makes you feel like you can do this yourself, this is the one. It took maybe an hour to get the frame up and start adding water. Don't forget, you'll spend a lot more time filling the pool with water than actually assembling it, so plan for that. I had to use 2 hoses, one from city water and another from my well, just to speed things up a bit. A quick review of the filtration. The crystal clear sand filter pump is a highlight here, especially if, like me, you're worried about keeping the water sparkling. The sand filter is straightforward for beginners. In basic terms, the water from the pool gets sucked in, passes through sand which traps dirt, then goes back clean. You don't need to swap out paper filters every week like some other pool sets. It has a 6-way valve so you can filter, backwash, rinse, circulate, drain, and close off the system. From my experience, the water stayed clear and clean, even with a bunch of kids jumping in and out all weekend. My advice is to always make sure the pump and hoses are sitting on something solid, not just dirt, so they stay level and don't shift as the pool fills up. While we're talking about poolside comfort, I really have to mention the Mega Chill 2 cooler and inflatable recliner lounges. At first, I thought these were just gimmicky add-ons, but they turned out to be surprisingly useful. The cooler is big enough to hold a day's worth of drinks and ice, and the floaty recliners with their built-in cup holders have become everyone's favorite spot. It's perfect for lazy summer afternoons when you just want to float and relax. Another thing, pay close attention to the legs when the water is going in. As the pool fills up, it gets heavy, and you might notice the legs shifting or even tilting a little. I walked around several times checking them, and on my first day, I caught a couple that were leaning too far. A quick fix before the pool was all the way full saved me what could have been disaster later. One thing I noticed, and I think is worth mentioning, don't skip the ground cloth that comes in the set. It's that thin sheet you lay down under the pool. It protects the liner from rocks, sticks, or rough patches that could cause punctures. The liner itself is really tough, 3 layers, and feels pretty heavy-duty. Still, the ground cloth is an easy step that you'll be glad you didn't miss. From my experience, punctures are about the last thing you want to deal with on a weekend. Now, in terms of pool capacity, this monster holds just under 12,500 gallons. That's enough for all your friends, family, and probably the whole block if you invite them. I've had up to 10 people in at once, and it didn't feel crowded. The round shape gives everyone space to move, and somehow it encourages gatherings and fun. The sides are strong. I've never felt any flex when the pool was full, which made me feel safe letting kids play around the edge. The ladder could definitely be better though. I won't sugarcoat it. It gets the job done. But if you have older family members or anyone with mobility issues, I'd recommend investing in a more solid pool ladder. There was a little wobble, and while it didn't feel unsafe, it wasn't my favorite part of the setup. For those who wonder about pool cleaning, the sand filter does a lot of the heavy lifting, but don't forget to skim the surface and vacuum the bottom now and then. Even the best filter won't pick up leaves or toys that sink to the bottom. All in all, maintenance hasn't taken up much of my summer, which is just how I like it. The look really impressed me. The graphite exterior and bright blue interior look better in person than I expected from pictures. It actually adds a stylish vibe to the backyard, sort of makes everything look upgraded, even if it's just a temporary above-ground pool. What's also cool is the durability. The steel frame is powder-coated inside and out, so it's rust-resistant, not just for looks, but it means I'm not worried about the structure failing after 1 or 2 seasons. After a summer of use, the frame's showing 0 signs of rust, which is something I'd always worried about with metal frame pools. One detail that's easy to overlook but worth talking about is the 2-year warranty that comes with the pool. It gives me peace of mind knowing that if anything goes wrong, I've got backup. I haven't had to use it, but it's a nice safety net. In my opinion, the Intex Ultra XTR Deluxe above-ground swimming pool set is perfect for anyone wanting a big, sturdy pool without the hassle and cost of digging an in-ground pool. It doesn't feel cheap or flimsy and brings a lot of fun for family and friends. From my experience, the key is spending extra time on prep and leveling, which makes everything else smooth sailing. I'd recommend this for families, groups who like to entertain, or anyone wanting a real pool experience at home. It can look intimidating at first, but once you see how it all snaps together and fills up, you'll realize it's totally manageable, even for someone with no pool experience. In conclusion, this isn't just a patch of water in your yard, it's an upgrade. You get space, durability, and a filtration system that's actually easy to use. If you've got the space, and you're willing to do a little prep work, I really think you'll be glad you went with the Intex Ultra XTR. I will leave detailed information about the Intex Ultra XTR Deluxe above-ground swimming pool set in the comments for your reference. Thank you for watching.